Welcome back to JoyTube, a place where ancient texts and biblical stories are explained to make meaning to you. If you have been following us in this channel, you must have learned a lot about God's dealings with the people of old. Right from the creation, generations have come and gone. But our focus has been on those of them that walked with God and pleased Him, and He rewarded them and revealed deep secrets that no one ever knew, which were written down for us to learn and follow the ways of God. Hebrews chapter 12 verse 1, Therefore we also, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight, and the sin which so easily ensnares us, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us. Today, we are looking at the life of Delilah, the woman who brought down the strongest man that ever lived. If you are for the first time, you are highly appreciated. Please subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss out on this epic journey. Let's dive in. The strongest man that ever lived, undone by a whisper, deceived by a touch, blinded by love. Samson, mighty, fearless, unstoppable, until he met Delilah. But was she just a harlot? Or was she a woman with a plan? A woman who knew something men often forget. That strength is not just in muscles but in the mind. This is the story of Delilah, the woman who brought down a legend. And in today's world, her methods are still as powerful as ever. The name Samson meant terror to his enemies and hope to his people. Born with divine strength, chosen by God as a Nazirite, he was forbidden from cutting his hair, drinking wine, or touching the dead. But Samson had one weakness: women. And it was this weakness that led him into the arms of the one woman who would change his destiny, Delilah. Samson was no ordinary man. His birth was foretold by an angel, his destiny preordained before he ever took his first breath. In Judges chapter 13, we learn that Samson's parents, Manoah and his wife, were childless. But one day, an angel of the Lord appeared to Manoah's wife and declared that she would conceive a son. This was no ordinary prophecy. It came with strict instructions. The boy would be a Nazirite from birth, dedicated to God's service. He was never to drink wine, touch anything unclean, or cut his hair, for his strength would come from his divine consecration. When Manoah heard of this encounter, he prayed for the angel to return and instruct them further on how to raise the child. God answered his prayer, and the angel appeared again, confirming the boy's purpose: to deliver Israel from the hands of the Philistines. In an act of reverence, Manoah attempted to prepare a meal for the angel, but the angel told him to offer a burnt sacrifice to God instead. As the flames rose from the altar, the angel ascended into heaven, leaving Manoah and his wife in awe, realizing they had seen a divine messenger. And so, Samson was born, a child set apart, destined for greatness. But from the very beginning, his life was shaped by both divine calling and human weakness. His incredible strength was not just physical. It was a sign of God's presence in his life. But like many before and after him, Samson struggled with temptation, impulse, and the desires of the flesh. Though chosen by God, his downfall came not from an enemy's sword, but from his own inability to control his heart. But who was Delilah? Some say she was a Philistine spy, sent to seduce Samson. Others believe she was merely a woman driven by greed, tempted by the offer of silver, 1,100 pieces from each Philistine lord to uncover Samson's secret. But what is undeniable is that she was not just beautiful. She was strategic, patient, and relentless. 3 times she asked Samson for the secret of his strength. 3 times he misled her. But Delilah understood something about men that few do: persistence and patience always win. When a man is intoxicated by a woman's beauty, when his heart is entangled in desire, his mind grows weak. Delilah did not conquer Samson with brute force. She conquered him with his own heart. Delilah is one of the most enigmatic figures in the Bible, mentioned in Judges 16 as the woman who played a crucial role in Samson's downfall. Though the Bible does not explicitly state her background, some scholars believe she was a Philistine, working as a spy or temptress to lure Samson into a trap. Others suggest she may have been an independent woman, motivated purely by wealth rather than national loyalty. What is clear, however, is that Delilah was ruthlessly determined, cunning, and relentless. According to Judges 16 verses 4 to 22, Delilah was approached by the Philistine rulers, who offered her 1,100 pieces of silver each to discover the secret of Samson's strength. Rather than immediately betraying him, she used a slow, strategic approach, pleading, seducing, and emotionally manipulating him until he finally revealed that his strength came from his uncut hair, a symbol of his covenant with God. Unlike other women in Samson's life, Delilah was not impulsive or reckless, she was calculated. She did not scream for the Philistines when Samson misled her the first few times. She waited, pressing him until he gave in. In this, Delilah represents a powerful force of temptation, one that does not attack directly but wears down its target over time. Was Delilah evil, or was she simply a woman using her intelligence to survive in a male-dominated world? Was she a patriot, a mercenary, or just someone who saw an opportunity and took it? These questions make her one of the most fascinating figures in biblical history. The fall of Samson was not through battle, not through swords or shields, but through whispers in the dark, through soft hands stroking his hair. Tell me, my love, what is the secret of your strength? And in that moment, Samson broke. He told her everything. His hair was cut. His power vanished. The Philistines seized him, gouged out his eyes, and made him a prisoner. Samson, the mighty warrior, was now a blind slave, grinding grain in a prison. But his suffering did not end there. Stripped of his power and his dignity, Samson was humiliated in the very city where he once struck fear into his enemies. The Philistines paraded him as a trophy of their victory over Israel. Once a hero of the people, he was now a symbol of weakness and defeat. They mocked him, beat him, and forced him to perform like an animal in their great temple, the house of Dagon, their pagan god. This was the ultimate humiliation, God's chosen warrior, reduced to a spectacle for entertainment. Yet, as the days passed, something happened. His hair began to grow again. In that prison, in his darkest moment, Samson remembered his God. Though his body was weak, his spirit was rekindled. He prayed one last time, not for escape, not for his sight, but for vengeance. Samson stands between two mighty pillars, the laughter of the Philistine elite echoing in his ears. He places his hands against the stone, tilts his face to the heavens, and whispers, "Lord, strengthen me just once more." A sudden tremor. The laughter turns to screams. The pillars crack. The entire temple collapses, crushing Samson and thousands of Philistines in a final, devastating act of retribution. Samson's greatest victory was also his final act. He died with his enemies, but in his death, he achieved more than he had in life, for in that moment, he fulfilled his destiny as Israel's deliverer. Why do they call women the weaker vessels when history has shown they have the power to bring down kings, empires, and warriors? Because strength is often misunderstood. True power is not in muscles, but in influence. Delilah did not need to fight Samson. She only needed to understand his desires and use them against him. Even today, we see the power of influence, manipulation, and seduction playing out in politics, business, and personal relationships. Some use it for good, others for destruction. In the end, Samson's strength returned, but at a great cost. He pulled down the pillars of the Philistine temple, destroying himself along with his enemies. But what if he had never fallen into Delilah's trap? What if he had guarded his heart instead of his muscles? Strength is nothing without wisdom. Power is nothing without discipline. The mightiest men do not fall by war, they fall by whispers. Did Delilah do what any person in her position would have done? Or was she purely driven by greed? Could Samson have avoided his fate? Or was his downfall inevitable? Let's talk in the comments below. Please subscribe to JoyTube for more deep dives into history's most fascinating figures and their relevance to today's world. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.